A Canadian woman's video is going viral where she makes the suggestion that Canadians would be better off to ditch their IDs, re-enter the country, and claim refugee status. Ladies and gents, welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Clyde. Welcome to the channel. The subscribe button is just right down there. Welcome. Let's get into today's story. So this has been a thing that's been going on for some time, and lots of people have been making note of this. Refugee claimants making way more money than the average Canadian. Here's Ryan Garrettson on Twitter. This is a while ago, saying people claiming refugee status in Canada get $224 per day from our government to eat and stay in a hotel room. That works out to about $81,760 per year. That's $28,000 more than the average Canadian salary. Absolutely unbelievable. And they're also not paying any taxes on that. This is all tax free. Now, some people might say, well, these are false numbers. No, here's a Canadian Conservative MP in his video talking about these numbers exactly.
We spoke about this in our previous video as well. An average refugee cost taxpayers $82,000 per refugee per year. This is just in another.
So that's not exactly how much they would cost the taxpayer. That's how much they would receive from the taxpayer. There's other administrative costs and all these other things that actually make it more expensive for the taxpayer to actually give this kind of money away. And really, has this been benefiting Canadians? Well, largely not. And that's, well, you can just see just how well some people have been doing off. It's a beautiful day, says Kirk Lubermoff on Twitter, saying it's a beautiful day when Canadian families get a free house. Child benefits from 4 kids should help cover the costs. I wonder what the wife does for a living. Gonna say she's probably a ninja. I don't know. You let me know in the comments down below. But here's this video that's been going viral of this lady who says, you know what? If I were able to, if I didn't have kids, this is what I would do. I would ditch my ID and come back as a refugee, maybe claim some of these benefits here in Canada.
I was born and raised in a small town just north of Toronto. I've been working since I was 16 years old, and now I'm in my mid-40s, which means I've been paying into taxes for that length of time. I worked for one particular organization for 20 years, and when I was let go due to corporate restructuring, the government provided me with 6 weeks of employment insurance. 6 weeks. I've been looking for a job for nearly a year, and we've been talking about how hard it is to find jobs in the service industry, but it's not just the service industry. It's everywhere. I'm a learning consultant, and if I didn't have children, I would run to another country and come back to Canada as a refugee with a different name so that I could get these benefits that everybody else is getting as newcomers. We have a problem here, and we seem to have forgotten that the government doesn't have money. It is not government funded. It is taxpayer funded. It is our money that we've been paying for years and years and years, and it's being given away to everybody but Canadians.
Absolutely, everybody but Canadians. And some of the people who have spent the most is, well, retirees. And this is the reality of the situation in Canada. The average Canadian pension recipient gets $1,200 a month after working for 50 plus years. The average refugee gets $3,874 a month after being in Canada for only 1 day. That's right. This is where we're at. And we're seeing this all over the place. Now, we're running out of employment in Canada. There's a lot of issues with that. People just can't find jobs, as she alluded there. It's not just the service sector. It's all over the place. Mark Nixon reporting, Canada brought in nearly 500,000 temporary workers in the first 4 months of 2025. Now, this is a really interesting thing. They call them temporary workers. Nobody's treating it like a temporary scenario. And why are they bringing them in anyway if there's unemployment at the record levels like we're seeing? Meanwhile, 1.55 million Canadians are unemployed, and 60% of them haven't found work in over a year. WTF is the government thinking? Import labor while Canadians sit jobless. This is sabotage. It's absolutely crazy. And what is CBC doing? Well, they're blaming boomers. This is unbelievable, this clip. Anti-taxer putting this on X saying, I just caught CBC segment addressing youth unemployment rates and trying to blame it on boomers who don't want to retire and clear room for the younger generations. If you've been following me for a while, I've said the same thing, and I can't believe CBC sounds like me now. Boomers were hired out of the high school and trained in the jobs, then artificially created jobs. They got job security by developing the human resources industrial complex, which made the exact same careers harder and harder to achieve with more regulations, more education, and more certifications. This is true. This is very true. I even recall when I first got into the automotive trade, a lot of the older red sealed technicians at the time, they scoffed and laughed at the idea of going through the apprenticeship program because they were all grandfathered in. That's right. A lot of them grandfathered in. Nonetheless, CBC's blaming boomers while we have this unbelievable amount of immigration coming in for people who are just getting out of college and looking for entry-level positions in their schools. Here's what CBC has to say about this.
Gen Z is facing the worst unemployment rate in decades.
More often than not, it's literally just rejection, rejection, rejection. And it's always like the automated messages. I've only gotten like one where it's like, oh, you can do like a video interview, but that's like the first stage out of like 7 others. So no luck.
So is it just a feeling that there are no jobs out there, or is Gen Z actually facing an employment problem? According to StatsCan, Canadian graduates between the ages of 15 and 24 are facing the highest unemployment rate this country has seen since the mid-90s. In January 2023, the seasonal adjusted unemployment rate in this group was 10%. Just over 2 years later, it sits at 14.2%. In Quebec, unemployment is below the national average, but it's still creeping up.
There's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now. There's also an older generation of baby boomers who haven't left their jobs, but it's really the uncertainty in the market.
And when you add inflation, the trade war with the US, and AI, it's created this environment of volatility and uncertainty.
It really shouldn't be that way. You know, like you put 4 years into your education, you should be able to find at least like a good number of jobs within the field, but it's kind of limited. And so now the option is for a lot of students like me to do a master's or a PhD.
Now, it's true that people in getting these educations are coming out and AI is replacing a lot of these fields. Now, when I was a kid, I was told, why don't you get into the trades? And this was a big thing. I had one teacher, big shout out to Mr. Finley if you're out there, but he recommended getting into the trades. And one of the big ones was tool and die. And this is a big issue in Canada, in the Western world, as was pointed out in Smarter Every Day. This video is recommended to me by Yuji Tai. Go watch it. It's fantastic. I'll leave a link in the description down below, showing that he was trying to make a product in America. And the big thing was he couldn't find people with the expertise anymore in manufacturing to do this. A lot of this expertise has left the nation, but we've also been educating people in other jobs that it doesn't seem like they're able to fulfill. My recommendation for the young generation that may be watching this video, get yourself into tool and die, get yourself into some of these other jobs. They're not grunt work. It's not dirty work. It's very good employment, and there's going to be so much demand for it moving forward as our economies start retooling for manufacturing. Let's get back to this video where we blame the boomers for the joblessness here.
The feds recently announced 6,000 more jobs for youth to attempt to help alleviate the job crunch. Even then, many are losing hope.
It's a little defeating because, it takes time in developing your resume to make sure, you have stuff on it to stand out, to get that interview, to even, kind of get your foot in the door, get connections and stuff like that. So getting the rejection, in which usually comes in the form of an email, it is a little defeating because we put time and effort into it.
The Quebec government's pause on work visas for non-residents could open up some jobs for new graduates.
Yes, that would be a good idea to stop bringing in new people into the country when the people that are currently in the country are having a hard time finding a job.
But these tend to be jobs that are lower pay, but they are suitable for recent graduates because that's how you get your experience.
Entry-level positions, that's what they call them. That's why they're called that.
And at this point, when it comes to internship and jobs, students say they will take whatever they can get to start advancing their careers while they wait for the oldest generation to retire.
Waiting for that oldest generation to retire. That's where we're at with this in this video. We can always blame things on other generations, that kind of thing. Of course, they had it pretty good. They definitely did have it pretty good, but at the same time, it's the entry-level positions that need to be opened up in this country. That's where things need to happen. And economic growth needs to occur. We've been shooting ourselves in the foot for how long? We are the worst economically in the modern Western world. We're looking very third world for a first world country with, over the past 10 years, 0.5% growth in a decade. That's just, it's unbelievable. The closest to us is at 4.7%. That is the closest worst place. Obviously, we can look down and see how our neighbors to the south have been doing over that same period, went through the same economic shocks that we did, and they're faring so much better. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about who to blame for the joblessness in Canada. Is it just economics? Is it the boomers? Is it refugees? Is it immigrants? Let me know in the comments what you think, and we'll see you all in the next one. Keep on trucking.